Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, this is the Apple Watch version 6 that we picked up a couple days ago. I got one, my wife got one. I ordered in some protector tempered glass jobbies for them and got one of them installed. Of course, I got a pack of two for $8, so hey, throw one on, see what happens, and they're covered for life. So even if they scratch or break, apparently they replace them. Nice. Anyways, so yeah, I think I've spent enough time with this, done a lot of testing with it to definitely give you guys a fair shot review at this to tell you what I think of it. One of the most important things you need to know when you're buying one of these Apple Watches is checking the specs for the battery runtime. This one is rated at 18 hours and it's already on like 19 and a half hours, and I still have 15% of my battery left. Now, I've been yakking on the phone side of this off and on today for long periods. I've been, playing with programs, Messenger, all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of programs that can go into this thing, and you can build up quite the list when setting it up. And I have this thing monitor my sleep at night, and let me just sign back in here. But anyways, so I have it monitor my sleep cycles at night. It monitors your heart rate during the night, which is cool. It actually monitors your breathing. And it's kind of like, wow, maybe I do have a little bit of that, I don't know, what do they call that? Sleep apnea or something? Who knows? Apparently I don't breathe a lot per minute. Average about 21 breaths per minute. And my lowest is about 15. So, hey, who knows? I've caught myself stopped breathing even during the day when I'm awake. So, hey, whatever. I'm still kicking. But, so being down to 15% battery life right now, we still got some time to go. So I would say on average with, even general usage like I'm doing, and I'm using the phone part of this a lot for hands-free phone while driving, only because I've been doing some testing, of course. And one of the biggest tests I did was leaving my cell phone at home, okay? Because I have this connected to my data plan for my phone, and of course I get a gig of data with it as it is. It is running OS 8 or whatever they call this for operating system. I guess they call it OS 8 for the phone because it's not iOS. But anyways, I like using this particular display, but you can make your own custom displays. I actually made one of my own up the other day, and yeah, it's hard to do this on an angle, but that was one I created, and there's a shark one I had in here, and I mean, it's cool. You can even take a picture, like of any pictures that are imported from your phone into this. Take one of your pictures and turn it into a like a wallpaper background for your time clock, right? For your watch part. That's pretty neat. It tracks your calories, your walking that you're doing, all the steps you take. I mean, you guys have seen Fitbits, and they can cost quite a bit of money. My wife had a Fitbit. I can't remember what she originally paid for her first one, but she did get it just replaced under warranty because the battery finally had enough. And I said, you know what? Let's go to Rogers and see if we can get a couple of these Apple Watches, because I would like to be able to track my sleep and stuff. I personally don't like the Fitbits myself, but I would want something quality, being Apple, right? And this was really expensive. But there's a reason for it. It's not just because it's Apple. It's all this stuff that this thing can do and does. I mean, it's nuts. Like I got the Gas Buddy app in here. It does your weather, your stocks, stopwatch in it, different timers, tips, voice memos. It's got a walkie-talkie function. So anybody that that has an Apple Watch, you can do walkie-talkie with them, which is kind of interesting. I have to try that out. Your main weather reports, your workouts, your world clocks, all different. There's a compass in here. I mean, it's mental how much stuff they jam into this, and this is the 32 gig model. I find the wristband is also very comfortable, and you can change them out easy enough. There's a locking release button on each one, so you just slide it out and slide in your new one if you wear this wristband out, or you just want to change to something different that is available for this. You can do that. So, anyways, it has a lot in it, and It's actually quite not that possible to go through all these features for you without continually re-logging in, because when it's off your wrist, it logs you out and you got to log back in. And I mean, that part can be a little bit annoying. However, there's a good point to it too. You know, it keeps it secure. When you put it on the charger, of course, it just goes to sleep and does its charging thing. And it only takes about 2 hours to bring it to a full charge, even from dead. You know, so don't worry if you flatline the battery. It's not like you're apparently going to hurt it. So you can actually recharge it right from dead in about 2 hours. So recharge time is good. Runtime is definitely, I would say 18 to 20 hours. It depends on how much more you're doing on it than I am. But of all the background apps that run in your sleep to track you while you're sleeping and stuff, that's actually quite neat. And the other feature I like on here too is it actually has a blood oxygen level program that tracks your blood oxygen levels, and that's actually quite handy. And you can give yourself an ECG. Who'd have thought? Who needs to go to the hospital for one? Just get one on your wrist. But yes, it's not for medical purposes, but you can do an ECG. And it's from what I understand, these are all legit tests. Just don't, you know, they're not going to track a heart attack, for example, is one thing. It's a disclaimer, right? But you can definitely just sit here and give yourself an ECG, check your heart rate, check your, you know, the only thing it doesn't do is checking your blood pressure. Now, that would be a cool feature to add. And I think it could actually be done, really. I'm not quite sure how you would do it, but I'm sure there's got to be a way. They managed to put everything else into the sucker, so why not add a little extra? You got different list modes here. You know, you can use the bottom button, and you can get into this main list mode. Calculator's kind of handy too. A little tricky when you got bigger fingers, though. But you can also go from this mode, and you can scroll through your list this way. You can have that big jumble of icons where you kind of like, you know, scroll around and push, and you know, it's kind of neat. It's got noise level things, so if there's noise that's dangerous to your ears, I guess it tracks that, so it warns you. It can play radio stuff. It's got music in it, so you can pipe your music collection through this thing. Mail programs, Messenger. I've done a lot of that stuff too on this thing. Cycle tracking, your main contacts, the compass. Camera remote. Now that's fun. The camera remote can control the camera on your iPhone, and it's all from your watch, and you get a visual picture of what's going on, and you know, on the camera, and it's like, that's kind of really neat. I like that. So if I turn on my camera right now, of course it turns on the back camera, but you can push the little side menu button and you can select front camera, right? And then press done, and it flips to your front camera. That is neat. And then take snapshots or whatever. So that's another neat little part of it. Different alarms you can set, the Apple Store and the App Store, both. Audio books you can have going on this thing. See what else. There's just way too many things. There are tons of apps that you can get for free for this, and apps that you can buy. So, given these things are not cheap, I got one, my wife got one, and it's on our Rogers plan, so it's like monthly payments, so at least it's affordable that way. I think that in the end picture, if you need this, oh yeah, and it's waterproof too, up to X amount of feet type of deal. So that's another benefit to it. You can like go swimming with this thing or wear it in the shower, no big deal. I always take it off anyways, just because it's usually on the charger by then, before I take my shower. But the amount of stuff that this thing can actually do definitely gives you that price point of saying, yeah, it's worth it for everything that it can do. The biggest feature I love the most, other than the health apps, is definitely that phone part, because I'll be walking around in Walmart. I did a test today. I actually left my cell phone at home, and I just used this as a phone. And of course, even though it is speakerphone, there is Bluetooth in here. I gotta see if I can get it connected to my headset, and if I can, fine. It won't connect to my car for some reason. I don't know why, but my cell phone is, but this won't. Even though my stereo in the car does recognize it, I can't get it to pair. I haven't figured that out yet. But give me time. If not, if I can do a headset, it'd be great, because then I can make a phone call and talk privately instead of letting all the Walmart hear my conversation. So I got to kind of watch who I call and what we talk about. But yeah, and it's quite loud enough too, especially if you're not in a really noisy environment. This is handy. So I even was talking to my one buddy today a couple of times on the phone when I'm driving. And I'm just driving, and of course it's up at this level, and I'm steering the car and driving along and yakking with him on this thing as a phone, and it works. And it's like, that is awesome. I really love that feature. So that's quite cool. So it actually allows me to now just leave my cell phone at home, period, and just use this. It kind of works for me. Anyways, so I would put this thing at a total star rating. I think I would actually like to put this thing realistically. I would say somewhere around the I would say 4.25 out of 5. I mean, 18 hours of battery life for doing all the jazz you do during the day. If you do a lot more than I do, you're not going to get 18 hours. I mean, I'm on like over 19 hours. I still got 15% battery left, which is fine. So I'm going to easily get to that 20-hour mark for what I do. But if you're even more active with apps and stuff, you may not make it through the entire day, or you might make it through the entire day, depending on what we want to consider as a day. An 8-hour day should be pretty simple to go mental on this thing, have fun with it, and you should be able to get through an 8-hour day without any issues, okay? I think the battery life could actually be increased to at least double, and that's something I'm sure Apple has no problem being able to do. It's just about engineering a different type of a battery that can actually last for at least 2 days. I mean, a Fitbit has to be recharged usually every 4 to 5 days, and they got tiny batteries as well, and they don't do very much. So 18 hours on this, on average, is actually really good considering what this does. And I also have this set so that all day long, this is always on this part. And it's always doing stuff in the background. It's always checking my email. It's always checking my messages on my Facebook account and everything. So it is totally active, like all the time, with a lot of background apps. Plus, it's doing other stuff in the background. So in that sense, I think 18 hours is actually pretty good. But on the other side of the fence, I know Apple can actually do better with the battery lifetime. And I'm pretty sure they can easily push that up to even 36 hours. It shouldn't be that hard for them to do. And if they could do that, I would definitely increase my star rating to about 4.75. But I think right now 4.25 is pretty good, considering battery life is something that's very important to all of us. And being able to be active in doing the things that we do with this thing, very important that we have be able to get through an entire day before we have to put on the charger. Now, the other thing too is if you want to make it through the night and you've gone through the day, you have to plan to put this thing on the charger at least 2 hours before bedtime, so that this way it can track you in your sleep for the stuff you want tracked in your sleep. Like, I want to track my sleep more than anything. How much real sleep am I really getting? And this thing tracks that. But it also tracks the breathing. It also tracks my heart rate. It also tracks other stuff too during the night. So it's like, wow, you get like a full diagnostics report every morning when you wake up. It's great. But it turns the display off at night, which is nice. So that actually saves on battery power at the same time. And I don't drop that much overnight for battery power. It's more during the day when I'm using it a lot. But it's definitely worth the money to invest in one of these. And it is definitely a really solid, well-built watch. But I do also recommend getting these protector screens so that you don't break the glass. I mean, I don't know how strong the glass really is realistically, but I don't take chances with anything I invest money in, especially this kind of money. And so getting a screen protector with a tempered glass is a really good idea. There are different styles. This is the clear see-through. This way I still get to see all of my space gray coloring and whatnot, and you know that's kind of my preference. But there are other type of shields with tempered glass you can buy on Amazon and other places, fairly inexpensive, and they're really good. Okay, so anyhow, so that's where I'm going to leave this at. I think it's definitely a good purchase. I think it's worthwhile looking at, and this is the Series 6 model. They do have newer models. They have the SE. They've got the 7. You got to kind of pick which model best suits you. In our case, I would have loved to have the Series 7 model, but Rogers doesn't have it in stock right now. So I did get the 6, and I'm fine with that. And I figured, you know what, you got to start somewhere, and at least starting at the level that this is for availability for my Rogers thing. And I also did look at Series 7 for other places too, where I could just buy it outright, and it's like nobody's got stock right now. So it's kind of like, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it now and get it over with, because Lord knows when they're going to have them in stock. Apple Watches are kind of really popular, just like their iPhones and iPads and stuff. So, you know, it's kind of like new release gear, boom, we're going to have a hard time getting stuff in for a while, folks. But anyways, that's what I got for you. I like it. Check them out on the Apple website if you want. Check your local cell phone carrier. See what models they're carrying. This is the 44 millimeter one, by the way. My wife got the 40, so it's kind of more girlish, and of course it is girlish in color too, and her color of her band. I'm a space gray kind of fanatic, where black is my two preferences for something like this. And yeah, and now I can actually wear this watch all the time and not even worry about it, because I've got the protector on it, and away we go. Anyways, that's all I got for you right now. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and the bit of review on this thing. Like I said, I wished I could have shown you more up close, but when this thing is off your wrist, it is constantly like I have to keep logging in to do stuff, and that is one thing that does kind of annoy me, but I get the security behind it. It's just that I wish you could just bypass that part altogether. You know, if there's a way, I'm sure I'll find it, and if I do, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.